Here we go, I'm finally getting around to making my Vancelot V4X bundle unboxing and installation video. I purchased them when they released last year, so I know that this is criminally late, but I hope it will still be helpful to some of you out there. I wasn't originally planning to purchase any more Japanese Vocaloids after Luca and Yukari, but Rin is my favorite Vocaloid after Luca, and the excitement over her V4 update last year was just too much for me. I couldn't resist that smile. I purchased Luca V4X with a forwarding service because I wanted her as soon as humanly possible, so I pre-ordered her. But I didn't want to go through that extra step this time, so for Vancelot V4X, I ordered them straight from Big Fish Audio as soon as they became available, and they sent them to me lickety-split. I definitely recommend going through Big Fish Audio if you plan to purchase a Krypton release, as they'll ship quickly and to virtually anywhere. So, what can I say about the box cover that would surprise you? Rini Poo is just the cutest thing ever. There's really not much I can add. Well, let's go ahead and open it up. The contents are much the same as Luca's V4X package, unsurprisingly, so if you've watched my Luca unboxing video, then this will all be very familiar. First and foremost, there's this large piece of foam padding, which tastes great with a little salt and pepper. But as cool as that is, the most important piece of this package is, of course, the DVD. Now, since this is the English bundle version of Vancelot V4X, I was expecting their English voice banks to come on a separate disc, but that's not quite how it works. All of the Japanese voice banks are packed into this nuclear yellow DVD. Seriously, it's the most intense yellow color I've seen in a good while. To get the English voice banks, however, you must register your product with Krypton and download them from your account page on the site. It's a little disappointing that there isn't an actual DVD for the English voice banks, since Luca included 3 DVDs, but I guess Krypton wasn't expecting the demand for Vancelot English to be too high. Just like with Luca's package, Vancelot has some cards that give instructions to download their Mac-compatible versions, as well as where to register them to get the English voice banks. There's a separate URL for English language users, which I've displayed on the screen. As for the rest of the contents, it's the same as it was for Luca's release. There's a bunch of legalese and instruction pamphlets on PIA Pro Studio, character usage guidelines, and the end-user license agreement. There's a booklet on Studio One version 3, which we'll talk more about in a minute. And with this long accordion foldout, you can find advertisements for SonicWire on one side and a quick start guide on the other. Finally, we have a nice manual for PIA Pro Studio, though an English version is available on the DVD as a PDF. And double finally, there's the orange slip that contains the serial keys, but let's just pretend I showed that to you. Popping in the DVD gives us a simple directory setup with the voice bank installers, the Japanese voice bank breath samples, user manuals, and PIA Pro Studio in their own directories. Let's go straight for the good stuff and install Vancelot V4X. Selecting the Custom Setup option allows you to pick which voice banks you want to install. I won't be going into detail on the voice banks in this video, but Rin and Len each have 3 Japanese V4 voice banks. Rin has warm and sweet voice banks, and Len has cold and serious, and they each have a power voice bank, which is the only one with evac functions. Now that the Japanese voice banks are installed, let's go ahead and install their English voice banks. I already extracted everything from the zip file, so we just need to click on the Setup executable and it does the rest. Rin and Len V4X English have their own breath samples, which are included in the English download. I know it's common knowledge at this point, but I still find it interesting how complex English voice banks are when I notice that the 2 English voice banks take up almost as much space as all 6 of the Japanese voice banks. Alright, now that everything's installed, let's fire up PIA Pro Studio and make sure everything's working properly. Note, I didn't bother installing PIA Pro Studio from the DVD because I already had it updated to the latest version. The PIA Pro Studio plugin is the same across all of the V4X products, so Luca's plugin is the same as Rin and Len's, it just needs updating. Aww, Rin's icons are so cute. Something you will notice here is that next to Rin and Len's icons there is text saying effective until December 4th, which is 2 weeks from the date of installation. That's because we have not yet activated our little friends. To do that, we need to leave PIA Pro Studio and find our activator4.exe file. I have been told that even if you don't have the main Vocaloid 4 editor, you should still have this file on your system if you install a V4 voice bank. Since Rin and Len each have their own serial numbers, I opt to input multiple serials at once. And there we go. Rin and Len are activated. Let's open up the Vocaloid 4 editor to make sure. Yep, everything looks good. The last thing to talk about is Studio One version 3. If you already own Luca V4X, Meiko V3, or maybe Kaito V3, you were given a serial for a free copy of Studio One version 2. Starting with Rin and Len V4X, however, you get version 3. You don't need to install version 3 to use Rin and Len V4X or Miku V4X. The PIA Pro Studio plugin is separate from the DAW. So if you're already using version 2 and you like it, you can keep using it. But version 3 won't overwrite your version 2 installation. You can have them both installed at the same time, so feel free to try them both. I'm not going to show myself installing version 3 because it's identical to what I showed in the Luca video, and I'm afraid I don't know enough about the software to tell you what's different between the versions. You'll have to read up on that yourself. I know this wasn't a terribly exciting video, but if you're considering picking up Rin and Len, then I hope it's helped answer some of your questions. I plan to get their release video out before their first anniversary, so wish me luck, and I'll see you later.